That is very important to understand, especially the Eastern wisdom says what you should do. Go to a teacher. It's a shrotavya, mantavya, nididhyasatyavya. 3 words. Listen and learn from a teacher. Contemplate and reflect. Do the practice. You will be awakened. So this pertains to the highest level of a seeker. So we should understand that I can study. I have all the books. Gita is available. All the Upanishads are available now in any language. Commentaries are available. We can just buy the book and study. What is the difference? So we have to understand that the goal of the Eastern wisdom is to pass on the knowledge, transmit the knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of the real self. For what? So that I can awaken and I can recognize and realize my real self. What is blocking me? It is the delusion. So I have to hammer the delusion. Then another step comes. But from where the delusion comes? It comes because of the ignorance. So I have to understand what is ignorance. The ignorance and the delusion comes from the impurities of the mind. So I have to understand the impurities of the mind. Then the question comes, from where to start? It's a very important session. So let us focus on the natural knowledge and specialized knowledge. What is natural knowledge? Basic life functions of eating, of sleeping, going to the restroom. Natural processes. Nobody is going to tell me that I'm becoming old. Nobody is going to tell me. I know. I have a knowledge. And everyone has a knowledge, whether you are young or child. You are going to be old. Your limbs are not will be functioning below the normal, and still we don't recognize it. Still, I don't want to recognize it. I avoid it. I avoid what is natural, what is factual. I avoid it. Avoid means I want to forget it. No, don't talk about the death. Don't talk about this illness. I just want to avoid it. So when you are avoiding, you are not a seeker. You don't face the right knowledge. So it's the same way the natural knowledge of the stress, anger, hesitation, reaction enters from the back door. Nobody teaches me how to be angry. Nobody teaches how to be scared. Do you see? I still have a knowledge that I had a tremendous fear. You were explaining me last week.
Yeah. But so, like, what do you mean by that? So that nobody teaches us that.
Nobody teaches. It means I don't need a teacher to learn what is fear, what is reaction, what is impulsive nature, how to eat, where to sleep. Maybe in a session I will fall into sleep. So nobody is teaching me.
Yeah.
Nobody is teaching me. Nobody teaching me how to be scared, how to be fearful, how to be anxious, how to react, etc., etc. It's examples of a natural processing of the knowledge by the mind. This is what I'm saying. I need not a teacher to learn all these. No teacher have taught me, when there is a snake, so you have to be scared, so that you have a reflex action. By the reflex action, you can save yourself. It's a natural process. This is what I'm saying. Feeling hungry. Nobody is teaching you. When you, oh, this is hunger. When you feel hunger, then you will eat food. Are you understanding? So natural knowledge, we don't need a teacher. We don't need a teacher. But for Eastern wisdom to know what is the real self, I need a teacher. Mind is overwhelmed with the thoughts and feeling and experiences of ignorance, of impurities, of fear, of frustration, of duality, of delusion, of conflict. We don't have a natural knowledge of the peace and happiness and the permanent joy. We need a teacher of the Eastern wisdom to teach you, to make you a seeker, to help you treat the path. You cannot learn it from the books. Yeah, books may be helpful. They may be a secondary mode of helpful. Nobody teaches. Children, when I was a child, I experienced this, I laughed, I expressed happiness without being taught how. Natural knowledge, understand natural knowledge. Natural knowledge. So what happens to our impulsive, habitual, deluded mind? Oh, this is so easy. I am real self finished. You have already taught me hundreds of times. No, that it will not work. It is not working. It is not working. Look at it. The master who sat perhaps 4 or 5,000 years ago in one of the Upanishads, it says, listening and go to the teacher, minus ego in you, with all humility, approach the teacher, sit with a focused mind, listen and learn the principles of Eastern wisdom, go back home. Second step, contemplate and reflect. How you contemplate and reflect? You listen and learn again, and then contemplate and reflect. So during the reflection, if you are a great seeker, you will be absorbed into meditation. You need not to practice meditation. But if you are not, then the master gave you the practice of meditation. You should be doing it. That is the journey. That is the way the Eastern wisdom has to be understood. That is why I spent 26 years with my master. It did not work for a couple of years. I said I understood. But then there was a problem. So I did not understand it. So the specialized, now you see, I'm comparing. One is the natural knowledge, other is the specialized knowledge, or in the objective world. What is the specialized knowledge in the objective world? I go to the Walmart, Walgreens or CVS pharmacy, I have a headache, and I take over-the-counter meditation and counter medication. I take it, my headache is gone, but still it returns. Then I start Googling it. I Google it, and when I Google, I find a recurrent headache has to do with the brain tumor. Now I am full of fear. So, unless I don't have a specialized knowledge, then I go to the doctor, this is what I heard, and the doctor examines and he says there is no tumor. Now he examines. He has a specialized knowledge of the objective world. So one is the natural knowledge of fear, anxiety, pleasure, sex, going to the restroom, hunger, eating. That we learn. Fear, etc. Second is the specialized knowledge of the world. Whether it's a plumbing work, I don't know. Recently I changed that they charged me a lot of money, $500 each, to change that entire system of the restroom. So the specialized knowledge. And when I was watching, it was for him, it was hardly 10 minutes job. Do you see the specialized knowledge? So we have, as one is the natural knowledge, the other is the specialized knowledge. So when we find there is some challenges in our life, whether it pertains to physical and the body and the mind, or it pertains to my house or a car, I must seek the help of the specialized knowledge. I should not do it myself. I should not do it. Diagnosing an illness, it is the doctor who is going to diagnose the illness. He knows there are 50 types of headache. I only know one headache. I Google out one headache. So that is why we say little knowledge is a dangerous thing. So that is the limits of the self-study. Even in the objective knowledge, I get fooled by my mind. Oh, I have a brain tumor. When I go to the doctor says nothing is there. Just take this, change your lifestyle, you'll be happy. After diagnosis and investigation, he checks there is nothing like it. So what happens? I studied from the Google, I studied the books. So there is a limit of the self-study. There is a limitation that I don't recognize it. So when I don't recognize these limitations, and then I start continuously repeating, oh, I have a fear, what should I do? There is no fear as such. Challenge the fear. When you challenge the fear, your intellect raises your self-awareness. But when you don't challenge the fear, you have a limited self-knowledge of the fear, and then you ask the question, why I have the fear? You have asked me the same question, I would say 20 times. You don't challenge the fear. Same thing applies to that you are practicing. One guy told me that I am practicing meditation. I have a beautiful experiences, but still, I'm very much scared, and that is why I approached to you. But I asked him, do you enjoy that practice of meditation which you learned from the Google? Yes, I enjoy. I said, keep doing it. When the fear comes, say that, I don't care the fear. Why you are approaching me? Whether I should authenticate or not. But it is a self-limitation of the practice of meditation. If I don't understand what the meditation is, then obviously it will be coupled with lot of other things. And that is what happens with the when we enter into the spirituality. We say it is just a play, just close your eyes and finished. So you close your eyes when you are dead also. You close your eyes when you are sleeping also. Many people tell me, no, just, I know what the meditation, I close my eyes and I focus on the breath. And then, only problem is that, my head starts falling down. I don't know why. I said, how you remain in that falling head? Oh, maybe an hour. Then I return to it because I enter into a different world. Or you are sleeping. You're talking to me, you are entering into a different world. So the teacher helps you now understand, the guru or a teacher, knowledge of the real self, which is not found in any text, which you do not receive by a natural knowledge process. And if you Google it, you will find you will be confused. That is why the master says listening and learning from the teacher is very important. Another talk, when you are studying the Upanishad, your ego is maintained. When you are listening and learning from a teacher, the teacher understands your nature and he personalizes the talk to help you drop and dissolve your ego. Even though all Upanishads talk about here is a real self, here is a false self, but still clarifying the misconception can be done by the teacher. It cannot be learned from the books. Inner peace and happiness, you learn only from a teacher, that how to reveal that inner peace and happiness. The most important part, most important thing, every teacher, I don't know about other teachers, but one thing I know, that every teacher of the Eastern wisdom is representing your real self that you don't see. So the job of the teacher is to bring your mind back to the real self. That a book cannot do it. It is an experiential wisdom. But now come to the last step of what we call the Guru. Guru is nothing but wisdom knowledge. Guru is not the physical body. So by continued listening and learning, raising your awareness, you reach to a point where you start sensing, oh yes, he is talking about that wisdom. I experience that. I have a sense of that real self. Guru, that is why we say, I asked my master, when you will die, what will happen? An 89-year-old, one of my clients is calling me, so you can also listen just. Hello. Yes, Anne, how are you?
I'm fine. Are you working now? Or
Yes.
Do I disturb you?
Yes, I'm working. I'm giving a lesson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you can give me, you can call me after 40 minutes.
After what?
After 40 minutes.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you. No problem.
Thank you. I don't normally left the call, but she has been with me almost for the last, how many? I have been here in the United States for 20 years now.
Wow.
The days of 89, she is still enjoying her peace and happiness. What a great... So she said, no, how can I leave it? Because every time I learn something more and I get absorbed into the meditative state. Now, how many years I live, I don't know. So that is the difference between studying and the listening from a teacher. When you study the text, you have an intellectual understanding. Potential, there is always a potential for misinterpretation. I gave an example of a headache. It's a brain tumor. When you go to the doctor, there is nothing. So you are limited by the content. Your perspective of the mind is limited to the content. But the teacher gives you a very wider perspective. Teacher wants to give you that wisdom, pass on the wisdom. By metaphor, by parables, by stories, by explaining logically, so that your impure mind stops for a while and it can perceive that. And after all, it is an interactive. It is not a passive learning. You study the text, you are learning passively. You are able to maintain your ego. You are looking for how to get rid of the anxiety. The text is find real self. You are still working for finding the how to get rid of the anxiety. Ultimately, you land up to the page where it says you do this practice and you will enter into the peace. You started doing the practice without understanding. But the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom has nothing to do with your anxiety, duality, conflict, fear. What the master says, you are not worthy of suffering. Your suffering is a matter of delusion. You are of the nature of peace and happiness. How the sugar can become salty. I'm not worthy. Sugar says I'm not worthy of being salty. And still, because I claim it is my real experience of the fear and anxiety and duality and a conflict. And that is what the delusion is.
Yeah.
So, the teacher or the guru, interactive listening, it is an active listening and it helps you. The guru as the mirror to the real self, I have already covered that. So now what happens, it is all about the delusion. We have to learn. I explained you the aware model, isn't it, last week? Aware.
Oh, yeah, the acronym, yes.
Acronym, aware model.
Yeah.
First thing that this mind, which is habituated with impulsive, it has a natural learning that I'm going to be old, I'm going to die, I have an anxiety, I have the fear, I have the reaction. Instead of that, aware acronym says, accept that you are the real self. How to accept it? Remember, recall in your intellect, when there is a fear, you recall, yes, there's that weird guy, crazy guy told me that I'm the real self. Let me inquire into it. And if he is supporting their statement with thousands of years of tradition, with thousands of the text, why shouldn't I believe it? So I believe in anxiety, I believe in delusion more than I believe in that I'm the real self. That is the first letter of the aware. I have to accept it. If I don't accept, how do I accept? My intellect should repeat it. One way. Second way I will tell you. So once I accept it, then I can easily withdraw W. I can easily withdraw my delusion. Otherwise, this delusion is not going to go anywhere. You may be doing the practice for 20 years. It's not going there. The mirage I see in Arizona will continue to exist. But I withdraw the delusion into it. Now I see the water in the mirage and I know there is no water. Where? It is the knowledge. It is my awareness. I'm driving. I'm driving and I see the highway and the trees are running so fast behind me. What is this? It is a delusion. Even when you are awakened, that delusion will continue to exist. What has changed? Perception, knowledge. Are you understanding that?
Yeah.
That is the meaning of withdraw. The second letter of the aware. That is the meaning of awareness. Third is the assimilate or abolish. So once I recognize water not there, abolished. Oh, highway moving, not moving, abolished. Anxiety, abolished. Reaction abolished. Fear
that's the
abolished.
problem for me, Girish. That's the problem that I struggle with. It's not that easy for me to do that.
Go back to the first letter. Go back to the first letter. Go to the second. Withdraw. If your mind says it is not easy, go back to the first letter. What did I learn? I am real self. What is real self? It is of the nature of peace and happiness. You are contemplating and reflecting. Okay, then if I'm the nature of peace and happiness, can the fear and anxiety stay with happiness and peace? No, your mind is confused. And it says no. Hold on, withdraw. If you are confused, it means you are not sure. It means anxiety and fear is not there. I am withdrawing myself. Then you come to assimilate or abolish. I have to think in my mind what I am thinking. When there is an anxiety, I keep on thinking of anxiety. When there is a fear, I keep on thinking of the fear. And that fear experiences and the anxiety experiences overlaps, veils my first letter, aware of the real self. That mirage veils the sunlight in the sand, veils the real fact, and it shows me the water. It shows me the anxiety. But I will give you another answer. Let me complete. And then R. So once you withdraw and abolish, you find that you are already relaxed. There is no water. The highway is not moving at all. Why you are talking? In Venus satellite, Venus planet, in Earth planet, sun rises in the east. In the Venus planet, I just remember, in the Venus planet, the sun rises from the west. Tell me which one is true. So both oppose each other and both status do not exist. They are false. Sun never rises from anywhere. The sun is always there. It neither rises, it nor rests. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
Same thing with anxiety and the fear. No, when it comes to anxiety and fear, it is very difficult. Why it is difficult? Because I missed the first part, acceptance, second part, withdrawal, third part, abolish, and then if I follow all the three, I enter into the relaxation. When I enter into the relaxation, I see that this relaxation and calmness is independent of anything outside. It means it has come from within. So there is a glimpse. I have already embodied my real self because I experienced the inner calmness instead of anxiety and the fear. That is what the aware model is. Now let me answer. You said it is very challenging. Are you doing the practice regularly without fail in the morning and also before sleeping? I'm not doing the practice. How can you do it? How can you feel that you can get rid of it? So when you say it is very difficult, it means my intellectual understanding is not translating into an experience. That is why I need to practice. I need to inculcate a mental discipline every day for a couple of weeks and the months until I find anxiety and the fear has gone. And then I become capable to follow the aware model easily. I don't have time. You have a time for anxiety and fear, and you don't have a time to practice. What a great statement. All excuses comes because of the impulsive mind natural learning process. I have to break that natural learning process, impulsive nature of the mind. If I don't break it, I can study all the Upanishads, I can study the entire Gita, but chances are not. You follow a particular discipline when you are doing a business. You attend to the meeting at a particular time, you check then what material should be used here in the door or in the floor. We follow a mental discipline. I don't want to follow a mental discipline in the journey of the self-discovery. It is not possible. Not possible. So two options. First, mental discipline, which gives you a sense of emotional freedom. You are doing the practice for a week, second week, third week has gone. Now, possibly, it depends on a couple of weeks. Now your mind wants to practice. Mind has changed. Mind does not want to leave the practice. Mind has changed. What is that change? First letter, accept. So if I don't approach, if I cannot reach by simple acronym, I have to go back to the practice. I have to do the practice. Without fail, without break. Even if I lose thousands of dollars, it's better to lose thousands of dollars than not to have anxiety, fear, and delusion. Do I have that level of determination in the will? I will change. Time. I have to spend time in the practice. The way the time kills the tree. At the same time, the time gives an opportunity to the seed to become a tree. What I said? Time kills the tree. Why I said so? When the tree becomes old, it will kill. What is created has a birth in the dead. But at the same time gives an opportunity to the seed to grow and become a tree. What I say, I don't have time. I'm busy. Where I'm busy in anxiety, fear, duality, conflict, delusion. I'm busy enjoying the mirage. I'm still keep on thinking why I see the highways running behind me when I'm driving. That is your anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
After, I have to practice. So we can change a bit. We can change by practice. First thing, so my impulsive mind I can loosen that. When I loosen that, and gradually what happens, I cultivate my awareness. The intellect takes the front seat. Intellect takes over the mind. And then once it takes over the mind, it does not dictate with its impulsive nature, and then I become a seeker. And in that, being a seeker, then we need only three things: constant listening and learning, followed by contemplation and reflection. Your reflection and contemplation is so deep that you are naturally absorbed into meditation. If not, the teacher continues to give you that meditation unless you are absorbed into it and you reach to your real self. Traditional approach. You see a house, dilapidated house. It's going to fall. Does the house says to you that I'm going to fall, or you said it? It is your mind which created an opinion about that house. This mind and the sense organ, when it perceives the world outside, it creates an opinion and a belief and a thought process that includes the anxiety, fear, duality, and a conflict. My mind, if it is influenced by the world outside, that influence takes the form of a thought and a feeling. See that? Tell me if it is not true. So why I said that, tell me if it is not true? It demands a lot of contemplation and reflection. Fear without an object, without a thought, you cannot have a fear. So let us examine that thought of a fear. And that fear contains an object, knowledge of that object. And then that arouses the feeling of the fear. Simple thing, this mind is constantly influenced and dictated by the situation, event, person, relations. Why? I allow it to be influenced. I allow it, I welcome it. Please come to me. So it has entered from the back door unconsciously, and then you say, I have a fear and anxiety. You allow it. How many fears you have when you are in deep sleep? Because the mind is not there, so the influence from the world is not there. Body and mind, you are not aware of the body and the mind. Obviously, so where is the fear? There is no fear. Even if the tiger sleeps with you in the same bed and you are in deep sleep,
there's still no fear. But so that brings up a good topic, because if I'm awake and I see a tiger, isn't that a rational fear?
Irrational fear.
No, isn't that rational to have fear if I see a tiger? That's a legitimate fear, right?
Let me agree with you. It is a fear for survival. It is not a psychological and emotional fear that I have created by unwanted thoughts. So there are two types of fear. There is a snake or a tiger. There is a situation or an event to save my life. Obviously, that fear you do not think sitting in a room with AC is on, petting your dog, watching your TV, and then talking to me that I have a lot of fear and anxiety. That fear is a delusion. So there are second kind of a fear that I meet the situation in event. There's a tiger or a snake or car is coming at a high speed and I don't see any chance of saving myself, that is one fear. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So you are suffering from the second type of the fear. There is no tiger, no one is speeding over you, and there is no snake in your house. You sit in a luxury of your home. You have such a beautiful home, I could see it. And then in the luxury of the home, oh, I have a lot of anxiety and the fear.
I know. But like for instance, this morning I had a worker. I'll give you an example of this stupid fear I had this morning and why. Like I had a worker here and how not to have that fear.
Don't sleep tonight. Why? Exactly at 1 a.m. in your house, there will be an increased concentration of carbon monoxide. So then you will definitely say to me in the next session, why should I not have a fear when I know at midnight at 1 a.m. carbon monoxide will be there? It is there. The alarm went on. Now I looked at it. Now there is nothing. Finished. Finished.
What is your point by saying stay up until 1? What is the point of that? What are you trying to? What is your teaching there?
Your house is very well protected. You have a detector, and if there is carbon monoxide in your house, it will detect and it will make you awake. But I constantly worry, then I don't sleep. I will wait for 1 a.m.
I see.
So that is a psychological fear, unwanted fear. So I am suffering more from the unwanted fears than the so-called, you can use the word rational fear.
Yeah.
So that is the problem. That rational fear put me into the delusion. That is what I have been explaining since the talk began. I told you there is a mirage. Water. I believe there is a water. So that belief is impulsive nature. I did not withdraw. I did not abolish. Why? Because I did not accept that it is a delusion. So I am not relaxed. What will happen if the highway is running constantly behind me when I am driving? I may fall down. I will meet with an accident. So that is unwanted, irrational fears.
Yeah.
Irrational fears. That is what I want. So this master teaches the text. It says, Bhaj Govindam. Another name of this text is Hammer the Delusion. Bhaj Govindam means I recognize and realize the essence of myself. What is the essence? It is the real self. How do I know it? So simple to know it. When a person dies, we say the body has come. When a person knocks the door, we say the person has come. With reference to the dead, we say the dead body. With reference to a person, we say the person has come. It means that consciousness is still there. Every day I wake up, I am in dream, I am in sleep. I am not dead, because the sleep dies and I enter into a waking state. So that I is already present in my waking dream and the sleep, days after, weeks after, months after, years after, and still it is present. That I am is the real self. So the first title of the book, it says, recognize and realize the real self. Constantly, I have to hammer my mind when I'm surrounded by the carbon monoxide. Let the detector take care. Let me recognize what is the problem and stop it, finished. It's gone.
Yeah.
No, but I will continue to think about anxiety and the fear. So who is thinking? You.
Yeah.
Does the carbon monoxide is thinking, pushing the thoughts in you? Does the detector is pushing the thoughts in you? I am simply saying, follow the acronym, follow this aware model. You accept. Oh, let me accept, I'm of the essence of the real self. And why the fear? Oh, fear, let me withdraw it. Let me abolish it. Oh, this is all delusion. I don't dare to say that now it is a delusion. Why I don't dare to say it is a delusion? Because I don't want to say. Why I don't want to say? Because I enjoy anxiety and the fear. No, don't tell me, I don't enjoy anxiety and fear. That is what the doctors say, chronic anxiety. That is the meaning of chronic word. Chronic anxiety, chronic fear.
Like perpetual, like just
Perpetual,
continuous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mind is just thinking. Mind is just thinking. Unnecessarily it is thinking. That is why I'm using the aware model. I'm trying to use all the means available, personalizing. So Bhaj Govindam means I have to recognize and realize the essence. Whether I'm relaxed, whether I'm attending a session, whether I am surrounded by fear, anxiety, duality, my intellect should cognition, recognize. How do you recognize? I think I am the real self of the nature of peace and happiness. Yes, I experience the fear, but I am of the nature of peace and happiness. No, I have a lot of anxiety, but I am of the nature of peace and happiness. You are persistent, you are consistent in your mind. Then only you can move to the second letter, that is W, the withdraw. Then only you can move to the third letter, abolish and assimilate. And then you are relaxed within second. No, but I forget to say it. Then do the practice regularly. When you do the practice regularly, you will remember it. You will recall it. Now, I will not listen to you anything. Still, I'm listening. So then how it will work? So the real self, Bhaj Govindam, I will explain you the meaning later. Govindam is also the name of Krishna. Krishna is the master teacher of the Eastern wisdom. Master teacher. You can add 4 times. So another meaning of the Govinda means the essence of. Essence. What is your essence? My eyes cannot see, but consciousness is always available, so I'm alive. My right hand is amputated, but I'm still alive because of the consciousness. That is an essence. You see the essence is there? That essence is the real self. That essence is the consciousness. So Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj. Bhaj means repeat, love, recognize. That is what I am explaining to you. But when you study Bhaj Govindam, they say that devote to Krishna, devotion to the Krishna. Then you will get a smell of religion. Fact is that it is not a smell of religion. Bhaj Govindam, that is why you have to study with the teacher, because otherwise your mind will give a wrong misinterpretation. So Bhaj Govindam, it is an essence. So if you go to the commentary and if you go to the literal meaning, they will say, okay, Krishna is a God and who has written the Gita, and then you have to surrender to the Krishna. Bhaj Govindam, recognize, realize the real self, that very essence I am. And that essence is devoid of anxiety, fear, duality. Why not I remember the real self amid fear and anxiety? When I remember the detector in the presence of the carbon monoxide, I don't remember the real self in the presence of the anxiety and fear. What kind of a mind I have? Ask yourself.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a parallel to make you understand. What the heck? Because impulsive nature is dictating my mind. And to get rid of that impulsive nature, because I cannot recall, I have to follow a mental discipline. And that discipline means that I have to do the practice regularly without fail. First, I remember that I have to do the practice. I have to self-assess myself, and then only I can do other work. You will change. It is maybe a matter of a week, few weeks, or a month. This mind must settle in the beginning as the first step that there is an anxiety, fear, and there is a real self. It is not even settling into the two opposite thoughts at the time of anxiety and the fear. It is settling only in lopsided, in one-sided. And that one-sided is known as the natural approach of learning impulsive nature. So if I have the two thoughts, I am of the nature of the real self, I have an anxiety and a fear, one day the intellect will choose that I am the real self, anxiety, and then I will realize it is a delusion. So the master says in the second word, hammer the delusion. How you hammer the delusion? By practice in the beginning, when the practice is settled, by simply understanding, by simple understanding. Hammer the delusion. Now see that. Just understand that if you find the literal meaning of hammer, we know we hammer the nail and the nail goes inside the wall. So we have not to hammer our head. So that hammering is that I am totally focused, my mind is totally determined, devoted, well determined to remove that delusion by contemplation and reflection. Am I ready? Now I have a lot of anxiety and the fear and duality and a conflict. I borrow every day, I accumulate every day. It is going into my bank, the memory bank. the information gathering system, and tomorrow it will create another fear. It will not. It will not create the same kind of fear with a carbon monoxide, but it will, because that the essence is deposited in my mind. The essence is the fear and the anxiety. It will manifest in some other ways. And when I'm doing the practice regularly, I'm creating new positive impressions. These impressions is going to replace, modify. I have to wait until that time. And that is why I say weeks, maybe a few weeks or a few months. When I commit to the practice, I don't leave the practice. The mind is modifying. Mind is introducing the new impressions of relax and calm. So what is going to happen after a few weeks? You have an anxiety, but your mind says, oh, you were in relaxation and calmness when you did the practice. It came from within you, and your anxiety will go back. I have to weaken that anxiety not by struggling with the anxiety and fear. I have to introduce the practice. I have a small head, very small gray matter. So I have tried to make you understand in a different way. And that is what the role of a teacher. The teacher helps you to understand in variety of ways by taking your real life examples. Why? Because your real life example may prompt, inspire you and motivate you